It's Raven Tactical here, Gaddafi glasses type. I'm gonna kind of bring up the Shtf series, and this one's gonna kind of be entitled Leadership and what makes a good leader, right? Now, for us, our May group doesn't really follow a centralized leader, and it works because we looked at it from a perspective of when it's your time to lead, and when it's your time to follow. And what that really means is, if you're an EMT or a medic or a doctor, and I'm the so-called leader of the group, I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong and you don't know what you're doing for your skill. The same thing would go for, like, if you're a mechanic and I'm the leader of a group, I'm not going to tell you that you don't know anything about mechanics because I'm the leader and I have to know that. No, what it means is like this. If you're a mechanic in the group, your skills and your things will be inputted, your skills. So if you say, I'm the mechanic of the group, or you showed that you're proficient in it, and you're like, hey man, we should probably do this, and this. Hey, cool. You're going to be a subject matter expert now because you've shown that you're very good in that area, and you lead with it. Oh, okay. I'm not going to sit there and harp on you unless it's something obvious. Like, the group thinks that you might have lost your mind when you said we want to get all Toyota Priuses for bug out vehicles and we're going to go to war in a Toyota Prius. Okay, that might not be work, but for the most part it would. Like, doctor and EMT. Okay, well, you're going to put, they're in charge of the medical side. You put people who have more military experience in charge of maybe like the security side, or if they're a cop. I'm not saying that they have to be in charge, because there are plenty of people who take courses and stuff that can be very proficient in firearms and training and scenarios too. So I mean, it's kind of like, well, John over here dabbles with guns and he's really good at gunsmithing. Cool. Well, let's have him teach what he knows down, so that we all have good familiarity with it and hands-on experience. But we're also getting a chance to use his skills and put him in a position where he feels he's needed, for one, and that he's leading. Like, he gets a chance to lead, which is great. Now, do I think, like, yeah, something happened where you have to have it? Well, that's where your SOP comes into play. Your standard plan. That's where your planning comes in. Going, hey, you know what? If we have, let's just say it's the end of the world kind of thing, right? Let's say we scouted out, or they're on the scout, or the, if you want to call it, forward observation. They notice that, hey, there's a raid of bikers coming. Cool. Well, your SOP is going to dictate who does what. So if the SOP says your quick reaction force team, well, who's ever in charge of that is going to lead the quick reaction force team. And my perspective on that is, if you are doing squad things like quick reaction force, rotate the people through. Don't always have the same person leading the squad. Now, maybe in the real scenario, like you realize that, hey, you know what, John's not very strong in this right now, or Bob's not very strong in this area right now. Maybe not have him in the actual live fight as the leader, but you know what? As you're training, rotate people through. Hey, you know what? You're going to take the role of the DMR today, and you're going to take the role of, rifleman. You take point. I'm going to take team leader. That way everybody's starting to get that whole good feeling. The one movie example, because I like using those, was We Are Soldiers, right? Or We Were Soldiers. The whole concept of knowing your position above and below you. Well, no, you're all equal. Everybody in the group is equal. You're not, just because you know weapons doesn't make you better than the mechanic, or just because you know medical doesn't make you better than this, the farmer. No, you're all equal, but you should learn each other's roles, because someone might get sick. More than likely, someone will get sick, hurt. And you might have to cover down for, hey, you know what? I need you to garden. Okay, well, that's not my specialty, but sure, I'll learn to garden. I'll try my best. And you know what? If you need me to lift stuff, I'm there, That way everybody has a good tribe and everybody's contributing. To me, that's how I think it works. Now, my example of leadership, the one that I've always liked, to me, a leader inspires people to volunteer and work for you. A leader inspires people to actually do the mission. To me, that's a leader. There's a difference between a leader and, let's say, the term boss, right? The boss is that micromanaging guy, has to sit there and hover over you because you don't want to do the work because you're not going to put out effort, and it's like, oh, well, I'm going to do the minimal. And then you have people like that, people who are bosses, not necessarily, especially on the military side, who would sell you out. To me, I think when you're a leader and you have a failure moment, the buck stops with you. Hey, you know what? My guy screwed up, but I'm taking the responsibility for it. I will deal with it from me down. If you have something to tell me about it, cool. But I'd rather see it go me down. Hey, you know what? We're going to work on it and get better at it. So, to me, again, I'm going to reiterate, leadership is, for a mag group, at least in my perspective, you really need to kind of diversify yourself with it. You really need to find people's strengths, put them in charge. Like, sometimes people don't want to be a leader, but they don't realize it. Like, you go, hey, you know what, you're good at comms. Why don't you take over for this? And then in a month, when you figure everything out you want, come back with us with a plan. Like, what do you want us to look at? What do you want us to buy? What do you want us to do? Oh, you value my input, you value my opinion, and you want me to do it. Cool. It's amazing how you put that into perspective. And now, hey, you know what? You're the comms guy. You take the lead role on that. Do I think there needs to be a central leader? No. I think it needs to be a tribe. I think everybody should have a say in it. And we're not a militia group. So, when I looked at it from a malicious perspective, I thought, if you were in a small team, because I value small teams versus big militias, because big militias, to me, there's just no way for them to exist anymore. You can barely get 5 people one day out of the month to train and show up on time, versus these Facebook militias that have 200, 300, whatever. They're not showing up. So why would I want somebody that goes, I'm the boss, when it's just 4 people, 5 people? You're equal. You're equal. You're all doing the same thing. You all want to do the same thing. So that's going to be my concept on leadership. Is just try not to take yourself so seriously in life where you stress yourself out and you stress everybody else around you out trying to just get people to move, or as a leader. And I think it's important too that you don't have someone that's always the one that has to be the leader. Now, that also is good for the group if you guys aren't. You're in a group where the guy has to constantly always be the planner or always be the leader. Sometimes it's helpful for that guy if you can step up and say, hey, you know what? We'll take the reins on this for a little bit. You're good. You can step back. That's cool, because then that person gets a chance to take a break and he gets to learn from someone else. So, anyways, Gaddafi signing off. Ivan's in the back. Hopefully you guys like Ivan. He's going to get a couple upgrades pretty soon. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit like, and share it if you can.